Welcome to this masterclass that is all about coming back to the truth of who we are and what we are, and creating that harmony within again that we were born with and yet we became disconnected from and have experienced all the turmoil in our lives, or just the flatline experience of life that comes from that disconnection. So we have a lot to cover today. I'm going to be with you for about 75 minutes to maybe just over. So make sure you turn off all notifications, that you close all the other windows, and you dedicate time. There is nothing more important than what I'm going to be teaching you right now, because when you understand this and you learn how to come back into harmony, you start aligning with your natural divine programming, the programming you came with when you were born here. This coding, when we are in alignment with it, we have the ability to flow in our life, and we are guided. We give ourselves permission to follow that guidance. Coming back into harmony is where the magic and the potential happens, so that you can manifest and enjoy and expand everything that you were meant to in this lifetime. So let's get into it. Now, if you're not aware of it, last month I was in London giving a talk at the Power of Value event. And that talk that I did had such amazing feedback that I knew I had to bring it to even more people. So the topic was, what does it mean to be a high value woman and a high value man? And once you learn what does that mean, how do you be that? Now, what does it mean to be a high value woman? It truly means to live in harmony with the truth of what you are. And I'm going to describe what that is now. To understand what I mean by wholeness, we need to back up a few steps and we need to discover what the whole universe is all about and how it works. Okay, so we're just going to start a little bit light today. This whole universe operates on polarities. Everything in this whole entire universe has to have polarities for it to work. We've got the sun and the moon. We've got up, we've got down. We've got positive charge, negative charge, push, pull. We've got dark, we've got light. Even in your daily life, right? In order to operate well in our life, we have to be awake and we have to do things, and we also have to rest. So there's that day and that night, that sleep and that action. So everything in the universe, in order for it to work well, to flow elegantly, polarities need to be there. Even a baby is born through polarities. You need the contraction before it gets pushed out of the womb, right? So you need to get this concept that in order for us as humans to be whole, we need to have these polarities, and we do have them within ourselves. We are born whole with two types of energies that will help us live our lives to the fullest. And we call these energies masculine energies and feminine energies. They're categories of different types of energies that serve certain purposes, all right? So we've got our masculine energies and our feminine energies. They are within us when we are born in harmony until they split. Yet this is on purpose. Nobody comes here on earth and doesn't have a split. So I want you to know that this is how it's supposed to happen. And I'll explain that in a second. Yet to exemplify this, I want to share my very first recollection of my first split and just use this story as an example for you. So this picture on screen now is a very good replication of the image, the movie that I see in my head. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, my mother, who was an elementary school teacher, desired to go back to university. and so that she could become kind of a home economics teacher to high school students. So, in order for her to do that, she had to go away to another city and get that extra training. Okay, so my father was left in charge with the two girls that he had, and he did a very good job of trying to bake the kind of cookies my mom used to make us and make some of our favorite meals. So he did very, very well in that. And yet he had to work. So I was sent to a childminder every day. So the same thing we would do every day. He'd get me in the car. We'd drive to my childminder. He would pull up in front of the house. I would get out and go into the house myself. Today, us parents would do something different. Back then, this is the way things were done. So on this one particular day, I went into the house as normal and it felt quiet. Yeah, kind of like that silence. And so I started running around. Hello, hello, hello. Nobody was there. I ran into the bedrooms, I ran into the kitchen, I ran everyone. And then all of a sudden, my natural survival instincts kicked in and said, "You got to take care of yourself." I ran outside, ran down the stairs onto the street before so I could catch my dad. And I see his car driving away. So I start running, going, "Daddy, Daddy, don't go, don't go." And yet the vision in my head was this car with the left hand signal light going, and he turned left and he was gone. And I was standing in the middle of a street, petrified, like, you are alone. Oh, split. When we feel wholeness, there is no fear like that. But when we experience this very traumatic experience for a young child to be left, where do you think my instincts would take me? It took me over into my masculine. Masculine energy has to do with thinking, logic, coming up with a plan, creating safety, all of that. So I went into those energies and I started looking around, thinking what to do. And thankfully, my parents had been good parents and they had taught my sister and I about that beautiful neighborhood watch sign. So I looked and I saw this house that had that neighborhood watch sign in their window. Oh, I went up to them, and this beautiful older couple brought me in and told me, "Oh, your childminder is at a funeral. You didn't know?" And so they kept me there until she came back. Now, this would have been healed and processed had my father had a talk with me, apologized, allowed me to process it, and made potentially heard him say, "I will ensure that that never happens again by me coming into the house with you. You never have to worry again. I will protect you." That could have been processed, but unfortunately it wasn't. And so I stayed over here in my masculine. When we lean into one energy because of an unprocessed traumatic event in our lives, that program stays running. It's not turned off. And until that is processed, it will keep running and running and running. And what happens when a program is running? It starts creating beliefs. Ah, you need to take care of yourself. You are alone. It's not safe. You can't trust people that you think you can trust. So it's creating all of these beliefs and all these decisions so that it protects you, right? So that's where I was. Can you, even if you want to pause this masterclass right now and take out your journal, if I asked you this question, what was your first memory of when your energy split? And just allow whatever memory comes up to come up. Make a few, what were the decisions? What were the beliefs that came out of that unprocessed split and then come back and press play. This is really, really key. Now, I'm just going to carry on here. So the thing is, I could feel very sorry for myself. How could my father have left me and all this kind of stuff? But that doesn't serve us. As a woman who has feminine confidence, who lives from her divine feminine now, I know the laws of the universe. And I know that everything is happening for you. There are certain experiences, okay, that your soul agreed to experience before you even came down. Certain challenges, and they are the vehicle through which your transformation can occur. There's no transformation possible unless you go through some kind of challenging event. And so there's a couple of challenges that your soul agreed to go through. So this experience happened. My father played his part because I was meant to go through this. This was my vehicle for transformation. So the first thing is recognizing what the event was. Second of all, acknowledge this is happening for me. And this is my vehicle that I've got to go through to transform something within myself. Because every time you transform something, you expand the beautiful light that you are. And that is the purpose of why we are all here. You see, there is a system, there is a process, and it happens on repeat. Every single time you grow, you stay there for a bit, and then a new challenge will appear that you will need to work through and you will need to transform. It's just very simple, actually. So if you have this kind of, I call it an elegant perspective, when you experience a challenge, instead of going, oh, for God's sake, say, what an opportunity. Okay. And then that's when you can use my elegant process of transformation to take yourself through a transformative process. Remember that little program that I said was running? The only reason these little programs within us, and they start building up, the only reason they keep running is because they're not processed and you haven't transformed it. I do teach that transformative process, not here, but free on my YouTube channel. And I will give you the links for all of that because I believe in empowering you to do that work yourself. All right. Sometimes if there's bigger challenges and you can't even see yourself clear of this challenge, then it's time to maybe seek outside support, perhaps from me to book a session or 2 or 3 with me, or with someone else that you really feel you trust. Just they have to be capable of transforming and reprogramming these programs. That's one caveat I say. It cannot just be rehashing it, okay? That takes way too long. You've got a beautiful destiny to fulfill and a beautiful, elegant life to enjoy and just keep expanding. So, before we move on, I just want to give you a little bit of an explanation as to what these energies that we have within us, that we are born with whole, and yet they do have their separate identities, their separate purposes. So let's dive into what they are, and then we'll continue on, because this is powerful for you to understand what these energies are supposed to be there for, what they're supposed to be used for. So the masculine energies that both women and men have is that it is a positive charge. So an outward charge like this, okay? It is also the mind and the thinking. This is where that kind of logic, strategy comes from. That's your masculine energies. It's also the doing part. So you wake up and you start doing things. You take action. You help the universe co-create things by taking action, doing things. That's your masculine. It's also the energy of expanding. That's still an action oriented, right? So the very act of you transforming and expanding energies, that is your masculine energy. The giving energy, the generosity, that is masculine. Single pointed focus. It's about strength, physical strength, internal strength, emotional strength, that backbone. It's about creating a structure, container for something. It's again about the logic. It is outcome and destination focused. It is a protective energy, and it is a responsible energy. All right. And we need all of that. Now let's go on to the feminine energies. Feminine energies, they are about the negative charge, they are about the heart. They're about being receptive, receiving that goal to have, that intention to have. It's about enjoying pleasure. It's a soft energy. It's about connection. It's about a warm feeling. It's about your inner world. It is about attraction. It is about emotions and feelings and having empathy for others and yourself. It's more of a passive, resting energy. It's about the body. It is a creative energy. It is a very nurturing energy. It's about collaboration instead of competition. It is an intuitive energy, right? That comes with that inner world or that body. You feel it right inside. It is about the process. And it's about being flexible. So, can you see how we need both to make our lives fulfilling? We're going to fulfill dreams and we're also going to enjoy them. So, some examples of this are, have you ever walked into a house, which was the structure, and yet you walk into this house and it feels like no one lives there? Have you ever walked into a house that felt like it just was a house, but not a home? The feminine touches, the traditions that we create, the beauty that we decorate it with. That's the feminine. The connections that we have, the feelings that we talk about and that we express within that house, the pleasures of the meals that we enjoy together, the scents that we have. That makes the house a home where connections and warmth and nurturing take place. So we need both of those. And, I can't tell you how many women come to me who have been living constantly in their masculine. They are good at setting goals and they create the business plan and they get there and then they get there and they're like, why am I not happy? This was supposed to make me happy. Why am I so dead inside? It's because they focused so much there that they didn't enjoy the process, right? You have to enjoy the process. When you do, that is just like, wow, the cherry on the top, but it's not the whole thing. So, this is the whole way the universe works. We need both. All right. Here's just a little tip. Who's looking to have a beautiful relationship with your partner and or attract a beautiful partner into your life? All right, here's the thing. You cannot attract a divine masculine man when you yourself are being in your masculine. This doesn't work. And you cannot attract a divine feminine woman when you yourself are being too feminine. Now, for this attraction, I'm really just talking about a man and a woman partner. However, you will see that even in same-sex couples, that there will be one who needs to have more of a dominant masculine energy and one will need to have more of the feminine energy. In order for it to work, this is what you need. You need to have polar opposite energies if you want something to work well. remember? And so if you're the same, it doesn't work. Think of what a magnet does. You've got a positive charge and a positive charge. Have you ever tried to put that magnet together? It's like this. It doesn't work. We need this. That's when you've got the wholeness. So keep that in mind again, and let's move on. Now, because our souls have agreed to go through challenges, there's going to be other things. And yet, sometimes there are those big splits that are the main traumas of your life. And so, I'm going to share something very vulnerable with you now. And I want you to start thinking about what your big split would have been. Hello, I'm stopping things right here. As you know, this is part of a full-on 75, 80-minute masterclass all about learning where your imbalances are in your masculine and feminine energies and how to bring that harmony within back into balance. I want you to know why, first of all, I'm stopping it here, and then you get to decide whether you go on to watch the whole masterclass. So one of the first things is why I'm stopping it here is that I am about to share one of the most personal and vulnerable things that I have ever shared. I have never, not even with my private clients, have shared this exact story, and then some other things coming up in the masterclass. So I don't want that all over the internet, okay? But it can serve many women, I know that. So that is one thing. I only want you to go watch the rest of the masterclass if you are sincerely committed to learning about your energies and how to bring them back into balance so that not only you can feel healed and whole again, but also empowered. Have the ability now to flow with that universe and start magnetically manifesting things into your lives. This is a beautiful process, and I only want those women who are totally committed to this to move forward. You know what's a really great idea? If you have a spouse or a partner, watch the full masterclass with them. I cannot tell you how inspiring it was to me to have men come up to me at the Power of Value event and say, Erin, I can't even tell you how this completely opened my eyes and explained so much, and now I know what I need to do to help me and my relationship. So that would just be the best idea for you to go over and watch the masterclass together, because when two whole individuals come together, that's when you get that divine relationship. It's a beautiful thing to experience. So if you are a woman who is committed to this, then I will put all of the links in the description box below, and you can move forward and continue on this beautiful masterclass. We've just touched the surface. I'm getting into undeveloped masculine energy, undeveloped feminine energy, out of balance masculine energy, out of balance feminine energy, how to know where you are in your disconnection, and then most importantly, how to bring yourself back into having harmony and wholeness within. Okay, that's what you need to begin to start manifesting and enjoying this life that you were programmed and meant to live in this lifetime. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon.